Well, San Diego's waterways, they are a source of pride for many of us. But there's a spot in Carlsbad that's providing much more than these beautiful views. They provide oysters, millions and millions of them. And in this Earth 8 report, we want to show you why this local oyster and mussel farm is really such a big deal for our environment.
Thousands of people pass by every day and may not even know this place exists. The Carlsbad Aquafarm sits between the Pacific Ocean and the Five in these calm and pretty clear waters of the Agua Hedionda Lagoon. While all looks tranquil from above, what you can't see are the millions of oysters and mussels and the tens of millions of gallons of water that they're filtering. To learn all about these animals, the Aquafarm crew took us out on their boat.
So this is the actual rigging for the oysters, and under each one of these floats there's a stack of trays that we're growing the oysters in.
Matthew Steinke shows us how each mooring buoy really has 10 trays stacked underneath, each one holding about 600 oysters.
It's kind of like little kids have to share bedrooms.
As the oysters get bigger, the trays get emptied to make room for more. And taking a look around, we noticed a fascinating array of life.
I love this little blackbird. It's a cormorant.
Oh.
They're kind of goofy when they try to fly because they're not very coordinated.
The cormorant and the pelican essentially flying in a bird's paradise thanks to a bounty of fish.
And the pelicans are our natural watchdogs here. They sit on our floats and they keep an eye out. As the fish come in to go for our mussels and oysters, the pelicans swoop down and grab the fish.
The pelicans eat the fish, then out comes their waste, and that's actually part of the fertilizer for the oysters and the mussels.
With the pelicans helping out, we can grow from start to finish. We can grow an oyster in about 8 months.
What's also happening here, thriving eelgrass, growing 5 to 6 feet long thanks to the oysters clearing the water of its murkiness.
If we lost the oysters here, the water would be so cloudy the sunlight wouldn't reach the eelgrass and the eelgrass would die out.
But that's not all. The oysters and mussels are filter feeders, with each one filtering about 50 gallons a day. And with 10 to 12 million oysters at this aqua farm, they're pulling as much water as the Carlsbad desalination plant next door. And this pretty large operation all starts with teeny tiny specks.
So these are the babies.
No shell yet.
No, these have shells.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, these do have shells. Very, very tiny shells.
They form shells when they're less than ½ millimeter.
I would never have known these are oysters. That's amazing. It looks like little tiny pieces of sand.
Yeah, so we put algae into the tank and it pumps the algae through. They filter the algae out and they continue to grow.
When they're big enough, they're taken out to the lagoon, and then when they're big enough to eat, they're brought into these large water tables, filtering the oysters even more in what can only be described as a giant saltwater cleanse, with the water going right back into the lagoon.
So to me, all of this sounds like we need more oysters.
We definitely need more oysters. There's very few farms in California.
It's not easy to have an aqua farm like this, and with less than a couple dozen lagoons across the state, the space is simply not available. And we haven't even tried their oysters yet.
When you're going to shuck an oyster, make sure you actually have a shucking knife. Don't use a butter knife.
People can book tours here to get a lesson and taste testing.
Oh,
And
there it is.
We have a fresh shucked oyster.
Like the freshest oysters of all.
I've got a little bit of lemon if you want some lemon juice on that.
Do pure. It's like so fresh and like literally like when you're surfing, that feeling.
Yes.
I shucked one myself, nice and smooth on the first try.
You want it?
No, you're good.
I get to have another one? Okay.
They sell oysters and mussels at local markets or for pickup, reducing the carbon footprint even more by providing people with their shellfish without having to ship across the globe. For Earth 8 at the Carlsbad Aquafarm, I'm Netta Iranpour.
So what they have for sale there would be Carlsbad blonde oysters. Those are the ones we tried. They sell a dozen for 20 bucks. Whole Foods, that's one of their distributors, and then many other local markets, local restaurants. But I do suggest going for pickup because that way you can kind of get a look at everything and, you know, book one of those tours. It's fun to do.
Those slid right down. You didn't need any lemon juice, nothing.
No, they're good. Yeah, I like them because it is very much like when you go in the water and you get hit by a wave right in the face. That's what oysters are like. I enjoy that feeling.
I just love the story. It made you smarter, and it's amazing. You know, always we talk about this, how the ecosystem just works together. You know.
Yeah, we could really. I mean, those oysters really do a lot of filtering. 500 million gallons of water. That's how much they're filtering at that lagoon every day.
Those aquafarms, so impressive to see.
It's pretty cool. We have our very own here in Carlsbad.